So previously I did a series of videos about Confucianism, and I talked about the virtues having to do with that. Basically, Confucianism is a Chinese philosophical and religious system which came from a set of sayings by Confucius called the Analects. And so I talked about various virtues like filial piety, self-cultivation, moral rights and norms, or Li, and also Ren, and Tian is heaven, having to do with there. So there is a religious aspect. And I also discussed Mencius and the heart mind and the four sprouts, and so that was a set of videos which I have finished. And if you think that I should have included something else in that little series of videos, do let me know below in the comments, and I would certainly do that. I've read various books on that, and I have been taught in 2 classes about various, thought in Confucianism and Neo-Confucianism. So, starting this video, I'm going to be doing a series about Neo-Confucianism. This is the book that I'm currently using for this part, and I'm going to do a video for each thinker. Each thinker, including Zhou Dunyi, Chushi, Xiaoyang, Chushi, the Chang brothers, and Chang Sai, and Wang Yangming. So, I'll be doing a video for each of those thinkers, and then I'll probably do a video just talking about the principle and vital force. And then I have a book which is called the Force-7 debate, which is very important debate in Korean Neo-Confucianism. So we're talking about thinkers like Twege and Yulgok and Ugye and Kobong. So I'll get into that following finishing these thinkers that are discussed in this book. There's only one thinker in this book which I am omitting. I'm doing all of them in this book except for Lu Xiangshan, which I haven't really done anything with. I haven't really been taught about that one before. Yeah. So in this video, I'm going to start this by talking about talk about the philosopher by the name of Zhou Dunyi, or Zhouduny. Zhou Dunyi, that's the way it would be pronounced. Following Mencius, there was not really any big thinkers in the Confucianist, group of religious thinkers or philosophers. So between the end of Mencius between the end of Mencius's influence and Zhou Dunyi, you had this kind of gap where Buddhism and Taoism were kind of, the thing that became the more popular religion, I guess, the more popular religion in China and in neighboring Asian countries. Hinduism was one that was further south towards India, of course, but that's Buddhism and Taoism were mostly the main things. And Zhou Dunyi was born in 1017 AD, and he founded Neo-Confucianism, and he, was looking at, he was kind of making a note about how in the years before him, since Mencius, we didn't have anybody we didn't really have that much Confucianism anymore. So he wanted to kind of bring back Neo-Confucianism with some Buddhist and Taoist, influences also, because as I'll discuss here in a sec, there is a definite Taoist influence in Zhou Dunyi's thought, but he wanted to kind of bring back Confucianism in a new way and kind of show that Confucianism, at least in its basic forms, is the best way, is the is the best. I don't know, not the best, but um, is the correct religion and the best system of philosophy. So, um, so basically, the first thing that I would that you should talk about when we're talking about Zhou Dunyi is the concept of Taiji, or the supreme ultimate. Um, there's a diagram in here. I'm going to show you diagram, which is very important when we're talking about the supreme ultimate. I want to have it there ready. So, Taiji is the supreme ultimate. Taiji is the necessary cause. Taiji is not a god. Taiji is not even like the concept of Tien. Tien for Confucius and Mencius was this spirit world that indirectly had an influence on the concrete world. So, it's not Tien for Confucius and Mencius. Basically, isn't anything like your God that you'll find in your Abrahamic faiths. It's not anything like that. But Taiji founds Zhou Dunyi's onto-cosmological theory. So you have Taiji is the first cause, it is the necessary cause, and from that you get the creation and transformation of everything, and that is the foundation of his onto-cosmological theory, and that from Taiji you get your metaphysics, your ethics, your epistemology, and your basically your religion also, or your religious belief too. So Zhou Dunyi followed Confucius's humanistic outlook, and I did a video just about how Confucianism is in a way a humanist philosophy, and a humanist philosophy is basically kind of, I mean, humanism in Western form is that there isn't really any kind of meaning or purpose in the world. Therefore, we ourselves have to insert purpose into our own life. This kind of form of humanism is not entirely that there's no purpose in our life, because there is according to Zhou Dunyi, there is a real world. Because Zhou Dunyi was also kind of arguing against the Buddhist idea that the world is phenomenal, and that there's no realistic concrete world. Zhou Dunyi was a metaphysical and ethical realist, saying that there is, of course, Taiji, which is the reason for the real, ontologically real world, and that's how we have the foundation for everything, basically. So the humanist version of this humanism is different in that Confucianism of any brand focuses on the person in a way. The virtue of Haushui, or self cultivation, or learning, love of learning, has to do with the person, as does Ren, or humaneness, or benevolence, has to do with the person. You become, well, according to Confucianism, the classical form at least, you come into this world as a Homo sapien, and you go through your life, and you start by adhering to li, or moral rights, or norms that are there based upon where you are. So in a way, morality is in a way relative, but it's not pure ethical relativism. So you have to respect the moral norms and rights that are put in place where you live, and live by those first, and thus then you live through self-cultivation, and you learn, whatever trade you want to do, whatever you want to do with your life, and you learn that, and also you better yourself that way. And you also kind of go up in moral character as you go through Haoshui or self-cultivation, learning about actual things, learning how to do things, and learning a certain trade or whatever it is that you're doing in your life. You are learning about that while also, increasing your moral character. And at some point you will achieve Ren, which is a real person, a person who is almost like a sage. You're a person of very high moral character, and you are benevolent, you are humane, and you are basically achieving Ren is to achieving real selfhood in a way. So I'm just kind of trying to emphasize about how Confucianism as well as Neo-Confucianism in any way is focusing on the self in a way that's kind of what this humanism is, or this version of humanism is. So you have the diagram of the Supreme Ultimate, which is this. This is the diagram of the Supreme Ultimate. You first have nothing, and you have a necessary cause, or the Taiji. And you have your Taiji, your necessary cause, and basically you have a Supreme Ultimate and you have a non-ultimate. So Zhou Dunyi was also in a way a philosopher of nothing, in that there is a positive and there's a negative. There's a being and there's non-being. There's female and male, or male and female, it should be. Yin and Yang. So that's kind of where the Taoist thing is going to come through. There is nothingness in the world, and there is conflict, and that's kind of how things come to be in a way. So, as you see here, Taiji is the Supreme Ultimate, or that's the source of everything. That is the necessary cause. Taiji is not how everything still is. Taiji does not have, direct. Taiji is not this god that has direct, influence in our lives. Taiji is a necessary cause, and is the onto-cosmological foundation of the whole universe and everything, and all the principles and everything, metaphysical, ethical, whatever. And you have a necessary cause, and every cause following that is contingent. So you have the Taiji, or the Supreme Ultimate, and then you have Yin and Yang. Positive is Yang and male. Negative is Yin and female and passive. So we have positive male and Yang, and over here you have Yin, which is negative and passive and female. So you have, basically what I'm trying to explain here is that you have this, from Taiji you have evolution and creation and transformation of all things. You have creation and transformation, and everything evolves towards something. There is a destiny in place, but you don't really know that destiny, and you have this evolution of the whole world. You have this evolution of everything, beginning with Taiji and proceeding with Yin and Yang, or Yang and Yin, positive and negative, active and passive, male and female. And through that you have the 5 elements. Which is water, earth, metal, fire, and wood, which also come together to make things the way they are. And that's kind of this. We have kind of an evolution and transformation of things going down the diagram here. And you have just, this diagram is meaning to show that you have Taiji, the first necessary cause, and that's how and through yin and yang, this kind of conflict and things, and that's how things evolve in a way. So that's the Taiji. That's how things come to be, and that's how we have a moral and ethical foundation. That's how we have ontological foundations, and that's how we have everything. Um, and we have Kyan, or Kin, which is heaven, the male element, and we have Kun, which is the earth and the female element. And you have consolidation between those, and that's how you have the world. That's how the world is. That's how everything is. And sageliness, to be a sage is to be correct, and to be right, and to be wise, and to be a person of high moral character and high moral refinement. And you have four cosmic principles and four seasons. And this is, if you didn't understand, like, this is yin and yang, this is a Taoist thing. This is Taoist. The yin and the yang thing is Taoist. Like, how you have two conflicting things and how those consolidate together to make the world the way it is. That is a Taoist principle. So, and Lao Tzu and his work, Tao Te Ching. Taiji is necessary cause onto cosmological foundation, and it continuously it's continuously in a process of motion, or yang, and rest, yin. And through Taiji is your foundation for, that's your foundation of morality. From Taiji, you have your foundation of morality, and that's how you can. There's an absolute morality which you can look to, and you can look to that, and through that you can apply that and become a person of high moral refinement. And according to Zhou Dunyi, the cardinal virtue is Cheng, or serenity, and that has to do with completion of the self, and it has to do with the way man directs himself. And this is how the person is central here. Selfhood is central. And so this is, Zhou Dunyi's thought is against the phenomenalism of Buddhism. Many Buddhist thinkers try to look at the world phenomenally, that what we see is what we see can be reduced to a fragment of our minds or something like that. It's kind of like idealism, but they are not necessarily saying that there's nothing beyond this, or some of them are, but it's phenomenalistic in that they base everything off of the phenomena, and they don't try to they deny that there's a real, objectively real world, real everything. And Zhou Dunyi is saying that there is a objectively real world that we have to refer to for the way things are. Metaphysics, how we should act, morality, how do we know things, epistemology, and how did the world get created, religion, or Taiji. So there is, something that is, Taiji in a way is, a divine thing. It's not a god. It's not like a personal god that you'll find in maybe some of in the Abrahamic faiths, but it's a divine element. And he also has, finally, he has the metaphysics of a dualistic monism, or a monistic dualism, whatever you want to call it, that one is many and many is one. And how you have consolidation between the male and female elements, the yin and yang, and everything, and after that happens, you have everything is many and everything is one. And that's kind of what we're going to see here when we talk about Qi and Li and how those consolidate and how those permeate in a way. That's how we're going to kind of see how, through a lot of these thinkers, most of them really, that they're dualistic monists, or monistic dualists. And I would prefer to explain that and how that is in my video talking about Chushi, because Chushi, I think, kind of brings that out a little more and kind of sort of discusses that a little bit better, I guess, and I guess, you know, in an easier way. Where's Chushi? Yeah. How Chushi says that after principle is vital force, and Li and Qi are inseparable and are dependent, and how Li has power over Qi according to Chushi logically, and Qi is posterior physically. But it's monistic dualism because everything is one in that it is consolidated. Everything is one together, but everything's are many because there are many different things in this world, but they are consolidated in different ways. That's kind of, and I'm going to kind of be getting more into that. So if you think I left something out talking about Chuni, do let me know in the comments below, and thank you.